Hey, Plain Hooked Ink here. In a previous video, I showed you how you can get tons and tons of crystals. Say I got 537,000 crystals, so you can get tons of crystals with the tournament hack. I showed you how to set that up. If you want to see how to run through that, go look at my other video, but I'll also show you that here. But today I'm going to show you how to automate that process. So you don't have to sit there clicking over and over and over again on 5 different spots on the phone just to get all those crystals. So you can just make it so you can just tap once and it runs through it and does it for you. So to do this, we're going to set up something called a switch control. We're going to settings here. And down here in general, under general, we go to accessibility. We're going to scroll down a little bit. We got this thing called switch control here. And there's switches and recipes. If you've never done this before, you first need to set up a switch. Switch is basically how the phone interacts with your touch. And we want a full screen. You'll do add new switch. You'll add a new switch, you'll click a screen switch, and you'll do a full screen switch. I can't add one since I already have it. You can only have one of those. But here's what you end up looking like when you're done with it. So once you have that set up, you need to set up a recipe. A recipe tells your phone to do a certain process. So we're clicking to recipes, and we want to create a new recipe. I got some set up already. I'll show you one of those later when we get done with this on which one I actually use here. But we're going to create a new recipe. I'm going to call this one glitch. So in this glitch, we get to touch our screen in a certain way to claim our crystals, and we get to do it again and again and again and again. So we're going to set up glitch, we're going to assign a switch to it, and we're going to set up and select that full screen switch that we set up there. Now we're going to set up a custom gesture. Custom gesture lets us touch the screen in certain ways, and it simply records it. It's kind of like an action record. So we're going to have to touch on the screen where we need to go. So first thing to do that, we got to look back at Hooked Ink and see what we really need to be doing here. So let's get so I can show you what I'm clicking on here. One more back. It's just a touch on. All right. So now you can see what I'm doing. So what we need to do here is we got to touch on the trophy right over here. I don't want to touch it because it's going to move on me here. We're going to touch the trophy. Once we touch the trophy, there's going to be a box that comes up where you can claim our prize right here. After that, up at the very top up here, there's a gear in the top right corner, really pale. And we're going to click on that. Now, when we click on this, we need to be really careful that we don't touch the top of the screen and bring down that drop-down menu thing that pops up, or it'll ruin this process. We have to make sure we aim kind of towards the bottom of the gear. See how it's way below that? It brings up our settings. We're then going to click on our username to edit that, bring up keyboard. We don't have to change anything, and we're going to close it, and we'll go through this process. Now, the reason I didn't touch the cup yet is if I were to claim this cup right now, it's going to show up again and be beneath that box. And I don't want it to be moving around on me when I set up these custom actions. So when I do this, I get this so I have a full amount of things. I have all the things there, and the cup will always be the bottom thing. So let's get the cup to the bottom here. So touch the cup, claim, click on the gear, click on our name, close it. Sometimes it takes a second to come back. Sometimes you got to run it twice. Well, you know what it is? I bet we got another gear, get another box here. Oh, we got too many boxes. There it is. We had too many boxes. So now it's the bottom thing on our screen. So I don't want anything else to come here and interrupt this. So I'm going to take my buoys, and I'm going to move them out of the way. I got my buoys here from my mechanic. It is a pain in the rear to click those too. Moving them can be not easy. Let's turn this off, see if it works easier with that. All right, so I'm going to move my buoys out of the way here so that they don't get in the way and catch extra packages that are dropping down, because they just cause me trouble right there. So I got my buoys out of the way. Now, to get this to work, I need to click right here. Then I'm going to have to click here, and I can't, it doesn't save these for me. I have to click up in the top corner, and you click on my name, and I click here. The best way I found to do that is to actually take little tiny pieces of a yellow sticky note pad, cut them into triangles with the stickies on the triangles, and stick them on the screen where you want to touch, just right off, so you can set where you're going to set them. I'm going to try to do this without that right now. I don't have the triangle set up. I'll do my best, and then I'll show you one that I've taken the time to set up and work. It is a bit of a try and fail and try again kind of process here. So we need to go back to the switch control. We're going to set up a new recipe again. We're going to create our new recipe. I didn't save it, so I got to set this up as glitch again. So I got my glitch. I'm going to assign a switch to it. It's a full screen glitch, and we're going to do a custom gesture. Now, first thing you notice, up in the top, there's this save, and we can't have that save button showing because the gear is actually underneath that save button. So we're going to have to hit hide controls down here at the bottom, and then we're going to go through our process. The first one is on the right side, then in the middle, up in the top corner. Careful not to get too close to the top. Down here where the name shows up, and then the X. We've got our 5 things. Let's save that. So the odds I got that right is pretty slim. I've been setting these up for a bit now, but it's tough to set them up. We're going to go back in here and see how we did. Oh, we forgot something. So once we get that one set up, we need to tell it to run it. So back on the switch control recipe page, the launch recipe says what we're going to actually do when we launch when we use our switch control. And we want to make sure it's using our glitch that we just set up. So we select that. Now, we could turn on switch control right here, but we don't want to do that because every time we touch the screen now with switch control on, it's just going to do those 5 clicks, and that's not going to help us on this screen. So we need to be able to turn switch control on once we're back on Hooked Ink. So we're going to go back to Hooked Ink, and there's a shortcut to turn on switch control. If you triple click on your home key, it turns on switch control. So I'm going to triple click on that button and it brings this thing up. I'm using the glitch recipe, and I now have triple click to turn it off. So when I touch my screen, wherever I touch my screen, it's going to run through that process that I set up. And if I got them in the right place, this will work. Now, if it didn't, I'll show you one where it does. I did have to record this multiple times to get everything into the exact right place to get it to work. So we touch it once, it clicks. It looks like it just missed the cup. I was so close on that. All right, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you what one looks like when it works. So because you got to mess with it a little bit to get it to work. Oops, I got to turn off switch control and navigate away. Triple click that. Get back over to this. We got the recipes right here. So the one I have set up that works really good is my tourney glitch right there. So I'm going to use tourney glitch instead. And you can see how this works once it's all good and going. So you come back over here, triple click to turn on the switch control. And I'm just going to touch my screen once and let it go. There it goes. I'm going to click it again. It runs right through it. Now the really cool thing is here is you can click 5 times. It'll run through that 5 times. Now it's a little slow and the cup isn't there, so it actually tends to run it twice to get 1 full click because the cup isn't in the right place yet. I haven't figured out how to get a delay in there to get the first click delayed. If you know how to do that, leave it in the comments for me so we can show you how to do that. But I haven't figured that part out yet. So a couple things when you're doing this you need to think about. In my first video I talked about the tournament glitch. You need to make sure you have your notifications off. You don't want to get anything interrupting while you're doing this. You need to make sure you're in do not disturb mode. And you'll also notice my buoys are up in the top left corner up there. That's so that I don't get any more packages getting caught while I'm running through this process and messing the process up. So if you were to sit here and click your screen 100 times, it's going to run through this 100 times. It would probably claim your prize 50 times. That's a lot of crystals. You run that for a while, and you get tons of crystals. As you can see, I just got tons of crystals, 538,000 crystals. And I spent a couple million already. So, yeah, hope that helps you out. Have any questions, put it in the comments for me. And thanks.